Anyone who has got this awareness will start to operate on a different level. This is the mental model that I would like to share with all of you the first time I'm sharing this. I'm going to give you a fresh new perspective to this entire game itself. And the goal is how you can be like Neo, or you can be the Morpheus in your own matrix of your community, whatever you're building. There are 11 layers. What is the core? Let's talk about the game. Finale of 4 ideas to share. This is like snowballing into something really big. I can feel it, I can sense it. I'm sure you would have heard this first principle, what I'm going to share with you before. You'd have heard this from me before. A concept of going from being unconsciously incompetent to becoming unconsciously competent. So the first phase of your journey, most of you here, is going to be a stage where you'll be unconsciously incompetent. Like many people, like you did not know what you did not know until you came to my webinar, and then you were conscious about what you are not competent in yet. From unconscious incompetence, you went into conscious incompetence. And then when you are in the hackathon journey, you are building conscious competence in your business. So you're building the skills, you're building your mindset, you're learning the tools and everything else. And then once you do this a long enough time, you come to a point where you're actually mastering the game, and you come to a point where you're unconsciously competent in your game. For how many of you, this principle is a brand new thought that I've just installed in your head? Those of you who have been driving a car for more than 15 years, you don't have to think about shifting gears. You don't have to think about hitting the brakes. You could be listening to music, you could be doing multiple things, but you're still driving the car. But if you're a brand new person, you've just learned how to drive a car, and you're going to be in that very conscious mode. Many of you here are in the personal development space. Many of you here from the spiritual space. You have a lot of experience, and you may already know all of these concepts. But I'm going to give you a fresh new perspective to this entire game itself. Okay, the game of life and business. After quite a lot of contemplation that I did. So let's bring on this particular concept. And the goal is how you can be like Neo, or you can be the Morpheus in your own matrix of your community, whatever you're building. But of course, overall looking at your life, okay, from a very different perspective. Just allow me to be your Morpheus. But there's one part in the movie where Morpheus is walking with Neo. I'm just going to play that particular scene from the movie. And after I play this particular scene, I want to decode your lesson from that, okay?
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
I was...
Look again. Freeze it.
This isn't the Matrix.
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
Who are they?
Sentient program. They can move in and out of any software still hardwired to their system. That means that anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent. Inside the Matrix, they are everyone, and they are no one.
We have survived by hiding from them, by running from them. But they are the gatekeeper. They are guarding all the doors, they are holding all the keys, which means that sooner or later, someone is going to have to fight them.
Someone.
I won't lie to you, Neo. Every single man or woman who has stood their ground, everyone who has fought an agent has died. But where they have failed, you will succeed.
Why?
I've seen an agent punch through a concrete wall. Men have emptied entire clips at them and hit nothing but air. Yet their strength and their speed are still based in a world that is built on rules. Because of that, they will never be as strong or as fast as you can be.
What are you trying to tell me? that I can dodge bullets?
No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
So I'm going to talk about what is this mental model that I came up with. What are the different layers that are there? What is the core? What's the game? Few ideas, and then we'll do a review towards the end. Okay. This is the mental model that I would like to share with all of you the first time I'm sharing this. I want you to envision anything in this world in 5 different categories. The first category is a container. So imagine there is a container, and within the container, you have different ingredients that you put into the container. For example, our body is like the container, which is containing elements, but there's a lot of ingredients within the body itself. It's made up of different stuff, matter, and the quality of the ingredients could be good or bad depending on what inputs we are giving that particular container. So if our body is like the container, can you give me some examples of what do you think can be the ingredients to make sure that this container is performing well? Good quality food, getting good sleep, drinking enough water, managing our emotions, exercising healthy. So all of these are the ingredients or the elements that really keep this container in the best shape. Now let's look at this one more thing besides this is there's something called as a process. Let's take a car for example. Suppose you have a car, imagine the car as a container, and then you have different ingredients to make up the car, which is starting with the engine and the whole clutch system and the brakes and the whole engine, how it really works. Now and the battery and everything else. Now suppose you have an amazing container with great ingredients. If you don't start the car or use the car for say a year or 2 years, what's going to happen to the car? What's going to happen to the system? It will rust. Yeah, the battery will drain automatically. Your brakes will get jammed. In other words, the process here has to do a lot with a concept called entropy. So entropy is if something is not being used, it will naturally go down. It will naturally dwindle. So a process is required for you to fight entropy. You have to drive the car to keep it going. You have to use your brains to keep it functioning. Okay? You have to move your body to create more energy. You have to actively build your business every single day to grow it further. But there are more layers to this. Now, process is one where there's action happening. So you're driving the car every single day. You're driving your business every single day. You're driving your life. You're eating food. You're doing exercise, you're doing multiple things every single day. But there is one process, there's one more step that's important, which is to refresh. An example of refresh in a car example is giving it for service. Now, if you're only driving the car and doing it without giving it for service, what's going to happen? Let's say you drive it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years without servicing the car. What's going to happen? It's again going to break down because there's going to be heating up of the engine and whatever. There's multiple factors. Because when you're using the ingredients, when the ingredients within the container are going through a process, the ingredients go through wear and tear, including our bodies. So there has to be an aspect of refreshing. So when it comes to our bodies, can you give me an example of what do we need to refresh? What all can we do to refresh? Sleep is such an important factor of growing a business actually. Yeah, sleep, detox, meditation, yoga, anything that's connecting with you. And for me, I do like a 14 days, 21 day detox once in a year. Completely rejuvenate, refresh, detox, completely cut myself off from what's happening over there. This is also a very important part of the whole process. Then it comes to number 5 is results. Now, what is results over here? If I have to define it from a very like a model perspective, it all boils down to efficiency. Efficiency of that particular person, of efficiency, like it's more like an input to output ratio. How much of input are you putting into your business and what kind of an output are you getting in terms of profits and numbers and stuff like that? What kind of inputs are you giving your body and what kind of energy is coming out in terms of results and your vitality, your immunity and your overall energy, and results and efficiency can be measured. And the same thing, if you look at, you can apply this for many other scenarios. This is the model. It's a very simple model actually. Container, ingredients, process, refresh, results. It is brand new for me. Okay, I did not read this anywhere. I did not pick this up from anywhere. It was just a thought that evolved as I was contemplating on all that I had learned. This is just the fundamental. Okay. Now let's come into what are the different layers. There are 11 layers where these 5 things can be mapped. These 5 things can be mapped in these 11 layers. I'm going to zoom you out like completely. Okay, let's zoom out and let's look at the universe. the entire universe. Imagine the universe is like a container. Now, what are the ingredients in this universal container? Stars, planets, space, the Milky Way, the galaxies, okay, there's ether. And what is the process of this universe? Planets going around the sun, all the movement, moving closer, moving away. Those of you who are studying like astrology and all that stuff, you understand how it's working, how the entire universe is working, and how those universal movements are impacting other planets and stuff like that. Day and night, different seasons. I mean, that'll come now to the next level which I'm going to talk about. Gravitational force. And refreshes happen in the universe also, right? Black holes, things disintegrating and reintegrating and regenerating of universes and stuff like that. Yeah. And then the efficiency of the universe it's happening at a very universal scale. So probably God sitting, or the universe, he's able to measure at that particular level. Brahma is creating, if you look at our Indian tradition and stuff like the Vedic culture, right? You have the Brahma as the secondary creator, Mahavishnu is the primary creator from his body. There are so many universes coming out from the pores of his body, and we have this 14 planetary system, 7 planets below, 7 planets above. Like there's a system over there. Pranava, the Om is like the first sound of the universe. And of course, you go back to other cultures also, there's this whole thing about everything starts with sound, vibration, and then that creates things, right? So that's at a universal level. Can all of you see that dots are connecting here? So this universal level. Now let's come to the second level. Let's look at planet Earth, just planet Earth. Earth is a container. What are the ingredients within this container? We have animals, we have humans, we have forests, we have trees, we have mountains, we have rivers, we've got like all these are the ingredients. Okay, and then we have the 5 elements over here. Yeah, earth, water, air, fire, ether. All of these elements are there, which is keeping the planet together. And what's the process? So here we have seasons, we have the tides, we have like eclipses, we've got like so many things that are happening. At different places of the world, there's different processes that are happening. Cyclones, tsunamis, droughts, floods, multiple things, okay? And refreshes happen. Now, do all of you are able to connect the dots that COVID was probably a refresh on planet Earth? Planet Earth was like, this is getting too much. Let's just take a break for 2 years. Lockdown, reset, refresh, time to breathe. One small virus completely stopping the entire thing. And probably a refresh like this in the Earth happens once in many hundreds of years, and we were at the core of it. We actually experienced it. And then what's the results in efficiency? Ultimately, everything has to balance. At a universal level, there's nothing that is not perfect. Okay, everything is perfect. Nature is perfect. The balance is just meant to happen. Okay, those of you who are into the environment and studying, like if something happens in some place. I was watching this documentary on Netflix called Connected, and how there are some scientists who can analyze based on how many butterflies are flying during a particular season in a particular place in the world. They can analyze how drastic the floods and the rains are going to be in some other part of the world. So yeah, the butterfly effect. So things like this, small things, nature is so precise, and it is mind-boggling when we actually go back and when we do our research and study on this. Now let's come to level 3, which is the country. Okay, let's look at India, since most of us are from here. So if India is the container, what are the ingredients of India? We have different states, and then we have different people in different states. In each state, there's different cultures. In each culture, there's different food, there are different traditions, there are different festivals for each culture, and that's a part of the process. Like you go to every state, there's its own process and the way of operating. If you look at from a very economic perspective, if you're looking at India as an organism, then you would know which part of India is generating revenues. Mumbai and Delhi and all these are economic centers, and then you would have other zones in India that are the production zones. Maybe like Gujarat and others. Like you have so many different zones within our own country, like the IT hubs, say Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, and all of these are generating more of the talent and stuff like this. So you can actually analyze that there's a process that's going on at a country level. And what do you think can be like refreshes that happen at a country level? I think India has most number of holidays in the world. The holidays are going to be there. Every festival for every government changes or refreshes. Mostly like political shifts and political climate changes, like even weather changes. All of these are connected to refreshes. All of the major things that excite our country, politics, religion, cricket, where everybody's watching India-Pakistan match, the entire country is in standstill. Everybody's watching. How many crores of people watch, I do not know. Okay, Bollywood, all of these things in some way or other change the dynamics. Okay, and of course food and all of that stuff. And of course results, efficiency, you can measure in different ways. Countries' economic growth, countries' cultural growth, countries' impact on the other rest of the world, and stuff like that. GDP, all of this would be the output in terms of this. Now let's come one down lower. State. I think this is pretty much self-explanatory, right? So within a state, you have many cities in the state. You have some zones that are operating more as economic zones, some zones which are more like productivity zones, some are talent zones, and the same thing happens. Okay, so even in a state, you can find the container of the state, ingredients, process, refresh, and results. So there could be some states which are on riots and nobody is working. Other states are functioning properly. That means at a country level, maybe that state is that needs to be worked on. So it's more like from that view, maybe there is a small virus or something over there. If India was an organism or a body, and if there was one state that was not functioning, it's more like that particular organ of the body is not functioning. Then we can bring it down to city. If you're in Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, city has its own container, own ingredients, different zone, different suburbs, different people, different cultures within the city itself. And then the refreshes happen in city, results. Every city performs differently. Would all of you agree with me that every city has its own energy? Yes? Have you felt that? Like I was in Dubai, very different energy. I go to Mysore, different energy. I don't feel like working there. I just feel like just chilling and laying back and not looking at anything, okay? I come to Chennai, different vibe. When I go to Bangalore, different vibe. Goa, different vibe. Delhi, different vibe. Hyderabad, different energy. Are all of you able to now understand that everything in this world, it has an energy connected to it. Every city has an energy. Every state has an energy. Every country has an energy. Our earth, we've got some energy. Probably we should go and meet some aliens and they will tell us what that energy is. And probably our universe would have its own energy. And the energy is being generated by the ingredients and the process. Because if there is no process, there's entropy. If there's no process, it's going down, it's dwindling. It's by default. Nature is like, if you don't do anything, it's like you're standing on an escalator that's going down. If you don't do anything, you'll automatically go down. So you have to keep moving. Okay, so the process in every place, the ingredients in the process, that's what generates the energy, and the refresh also generate the energy of every single layer we're talking about. Now, what do you think can be layer 6? I'm going to put here as community. You could say a particular suburb or an area and stuff, that's fine, but a community or a society. Now, this community need not be from the same city. For example, even ILH is a community. It could be a community of people from, even if you're a part of a religious organization, that could also come under community. So there is a container. So if you're a part of a religious organization, there's a container. There are ingredients within that particular organization. There is a process that you need to follow. There will be refreshes over there, and there's different results. How good is the community growing and all that stuff. So the religious organizations, political organizations, the Jain community, the Marwadi community, the business community, the chartered accountants community, the gaming community, musician community, artist community, Rotary is a community, BNI is a community, JCI, NGOs, society, so many societies, Toastmasters, so many communities, these are all like micro tribes, you can see. Like even within a community, the energy of each community would be different based on the ingredients, based on who are there in the community, what's the process that they're following, and what kind of refresh they have over there. Next, let's come to layer number 7. Now we'll boil it down to your business. Now your business is like a container. So even though ILH is a community, I'll still count it as my business. There are different ingredients within my business, different systems within my business. What are the ingredients of a knowledge business? Products that we create, the people that we're attracting, the process that we are following, the tools that we use, the learning, the content, all of these are the ingredients. And process, what is the process that we have here? Like whatever I'm doing, weekly inner circle call, doing hackathons, doing multiple sessions for different categories of members, doing meetups, doing FBR events, all of this stuff is a part of the process. Example of refresh, that's what I did, right? I did reboot once in a year. So I plan to reboot every single year. And you know what? Companies like Apple also are doing this. Apple is one of the cash-rich companies in the world. They have their Apple ecosystem world. They've got all the ingredients and how they do things. They've got the different products. They've got a solid process of marketing, and they refresh their products every single year. iPhone 12, iPhone 13, iPhone 14, iPhone whatever, what was going to come, MacBook Pro, MacBook this, MacBook that. And their results and efficiency, you can see it's really, really powerful. Can all of you see a company like Apple is actually implementing these 5 steps? They've actually understood this, and they are doing this at a very, very, very conscious level. I'm sure they have mapped out and planned their next 5-10 years of what they're going to launch. And they've also mapped out their revenues because they know the hold that they have in the market. Every single business also can be looked into these 5 stages. How did I stumble into this gold mine, Rahul? I don't know. I was just sitting and these 5 thoughts just came into my head, and I just kept thinking more about it, and all of these dots connected. Okay. Now let's come to number 8, family. Now imagine your family is like a container. Your family is the container. your family of 4 people, maybe your parents are included. Now, those are the ingredients. The people within the family are the ingredients. And of course, even your staff members, your servants, and who are all supporting the ecosystem of your family, they're all the ingredients that make up the family. Yeah. Can you give me some examples of what would be the processes? Give me some family examples. When you would have dinner, what kind of food you like to eat, what kind of time you like to spend together, what excites you guys as a family, where would you like to shop, where would you like to go for dinners, where would you like to go for vacations, what kind of entertainment would you like, how would you like to take care of the elders of the family, what value system do you have in your family, what cultural elements do you have, what festivals you like to follow, what kind of prayer do you follow, what kind of routines do you have, how do you plan your family budget, and refreshes. What do you think could be examples of refreshes in a family? Holidays, vacations, movies, all of that stuff is where you're going to rejuvenate. And have there been moments in your families where you had a major fight with other members in the family, where you've realized some key lessons through that? Do you think families have been refreshed in that way also, where you've learned some key lessons on how they are? So refreshes happen in pleasing and also in ways that are not pleasing. For the universe, it doesn't care. You just need to learn some lesson. You have to integrate some lesson, and you'll either get it as a sweet to eat, or you may even get a bitter medicine to take to learn that lesson. Kiss or a slap would come your way. And by the way, whatever I'm sharing through this model is just the basic. There's some deeper stuff I'm going to bring, to connect the dots. Okay, so just hang on. Number 9 is body. So our body, I shared this example even before. So body is like the container. The ingredients is what we eat. Of course, all the organs in our body. The process could be, so many different things that we do. Just like religion, there are many paths in the world. Okay, there are different religions, there are different spiritual practices that people follow. Same way, even when it comes to health, there are different paths, there are different ways to become more healthy. Whatever works for you, that would come under the process that you follow. And then we have the refresh of our body. So I would say like taking a break, doing a detox, all of that would come in. And then the results, efficiency in terms of energy, output, immunity, vitality, and how stable you are in your overall faculties of your mind and body connection. So it's not just physical body, it's also about the subtle bodies. There's physical body and there's also subtle body. I'm talking about your mind, the intelligence, and all of that stuff. Then you have, let's go one level down, that is personality. So personality is imagine your persona, not physical body, what you can touch, but I'm saying your persona is also like, imagine that to be like a container. Now, what do you think are the ingredients of your persona? Maybe 2 people are the same height and same weight and maybe same skin color, but their persona can be different. So what do you think are the ingredients? Likes, dislikes, beliefs, thoughts, inclinations, emotions, behaviors, attitudes, confidence. This is like the inner game, okay, the inner side. So this is deeper than just the skin. Values, virtues, character, potential. And what do you think can be the process to work on this? What can be the process to enhance the persona from going against entropy? Or how do you make the persona to go against entropy? Habits, mindfulness, meditation, all of that stuff. And of course, personality also has to do with personal development as a topic. In fact, personal development is going to work on the personality. And then we have layer number 11, which comes, it's not like the deep level, but I've brought other things, okay? Other things like even your gadgets and other things in your house also have these 5 things. Like you look at your iPhone itself, there's a container, there's ingredients, the quality of the materials used in this phone, the process that it uses to process the information, the refresh that you can do on your app and the software updates that happen, and the overall efficiency and output in terms of the battery life and how long the phone is going to be used. Can you see that this 5-step example can be used in everything, whether it's a phone or a camera, or even if it's just your sofa in the room? What ingredients are they made up of? How are you using it? Are you servicing it? Are you getting it cleaned? And is it having the efficiency, the output? Here I've covered pretty much everything, but I'm sure all of you know the answer to what is the core. What is the core? Like what is deeper than persona and personality? What is it? Yeah, it's a spirit, right? It's a spirit soul. It's like the SIM card in your mobile phone. Your phone will not work unless there's a SIM card in it. So it's a spark inside. When somebody says, this person has passed away, what has passed away? The body is still there, right? So it's that. When I was analyzing this, like on a very deep level, thinking about it, the soul has these 3 qualities. It is eternal, it's knowledgeable, and it is blissful. Always, it's eternal, knowledgeable, blissful. And if you study the other cultures, like the transmigration happens, one body to the next, and based on what is the inclinations of the soul and based on what the subtle body is having, the soul moves to the next. Basically, the energy center is the soul. Are all of you able to connect with this? Just type W in the chat box. You're with me on this. This is like the core of everything, okay? And how we operate. If this is the one within us that is powering up everything, would all of you agree with me that if all of us are really able to operate at a soul level, it will impact everything. In other words, let me explain to you. If you're able to take care of your body by being aware that this body is meant to take care of the soul, so you'll start to look at things in a very different perspective. If you say, okay, I want to take care of my entire family now because all of us are spirit souls and I want to ensure I give a great experience with my family members while I'm alive. So it really shifts the perspective of family life as compared to just eating, sleeping, mating, defending, accumulating, regular stuff. Everybody does, animals do it too. Then you can ask yourself the same question when it comes to business. Can I build a business where I am able to understand that every person who's buying my products is actually not just a person, but they are also a soul on their journey to whatever destination that they are aiming to go towards. But you want to give them an experience. It's not that we have to make it into a spiritual organization. I'm saying even a business, but you're building a spiritually grounded business where whatever money you're making, you're giving back, you're supporting charities, you're serving people, and you're respecting other people's values and stuff like that. And same way, what if you build a community where you're conscious that, at a soul level? What if you build a city? What if the mayor of the city is thinking like this? What if the chief minister of a state is having this vision? What if the prime minister of a country is having this vision? What if everybody on this planet is having this vision? I wish, right? But of course, there's dualities in this world, and that's why we have poles, black and white. Are all of you able to connect the dots that everything can be looked with a completely different paradigm and perspective once we understand who we are? Everything can be shifted in perspective. Now the question is, what makes the soul happy? Like, what can you do to energize the soul? So this is where there can be different perspectives, okay? Because when you look at the spirit soul, many people may have different processes that they follow, different religions, different backgrounds that they are coming from, where they're able to connect this. But just as how sweetness is the inherent quality of sugar, if you take out sweetness away from sugar, can you call it sugar? No, right? If you take sweetness away from sugar, we cannot call it sugar. So just as sweetness is what defines qualities of sugar, based on what I've read, service is the inherent nature of the soul. So just as how sweetness is the inherent quality of sugar, service is the nature of the soul, is the inherent nature of the soul, meaning we are meant to do service in this world. Now, who we are serving can differ. You can either be serving your family, you could be serving your body, you could be serving your boss, you could be serving your community, you could be serving your city, you could be serving your state, country, earth, universe, you can be serving God. Whether you are looking at God as a personality or you're looking at God as an impersonal also, you're looking at that as energy. Another way to look at this entire game is, why not live every single day in service? And that's why this model, what we are doing right now, it is the ultimate model to live life. Because we are not only serving ourselves, we are aligning ourselves to our own personality by serving our body, we are serving our family, we are serving our community, and then indirectly we are serving the city, the state, and the country by paying our taxes, by creating a culture of with code of honor and stuff like that. Just as sweetness is the quality of sugar, service is the nature of the soul. And just like how when we pour, let me put this question this way, okay? There's a plant and you have to nourish the plant. Is it better to pour water on the leaf or pour water in the root? The leaf is dwindling. You want to pour water there or pour it in the root? Now, would all of you agree with me that if we live our life where we are serving the greater good of the universe, in other words, let's say you are serving God, if you have a relationship like that with a particular form, or if you're serving the universe, if you're looking at the impersonal feature, okay, whatever is your belief system and your path that you're following, you think that will actually fulfill all the others. Like we are pouring the root there, but of course you also need to take care of these other elements on a practical level. Based on what I've read in, say, the Gita and the Bhagavatam, and of course I've been through all the scriptures, there is a concept called devotional service. It's not just like going into a car, like you're going into a place for somebody to service your car and they're doing the service to you, but they're just doing it as a business. But if you go to a place where people welcome you and they really want to serve you with love, like which place would you go to? A place where they're doing it as a business, or a place where they're going to infuse, devotion there? Devotion is more like there's heart over there. When you infuse the element of, when you break down the two words, there's devotion and then there is service. Now, who are you devoting that service to, or who are you giving that devotion to? That is a question you got to ask yourself. So when I was actually thinking about what I'm doing right now in ILH is I'm devoted to this community. I'm devoted to serving this community on a daily basis. So for me, it does not seem like work. And some people ask me, how are you able to do so many things, or how are you so like rolling out so many pieces of content, showing up so many times in a week and all that? Because I'm not doing it out of force. If you actually think about me, nobody's forcing me to do this. Are all of you experiencing that in your own tribe? Just type I in the chat box. Where where you are experiencing something inside which is pulling you to come back and do more for your tribe, because there is some devotion over there and there's an element of service over there. So when these two connect, there is going to be you won't bother about the results. The efficiency and results will happen automatically. It's just going to happen. So this is the core. Now let's talk about the game. What is this game? Like 6 stages to hit the 10 crore club. So what is the game that we're talking about over here? Again, thanks to the universe. Just boom, it just dropped something into my head when I did not expect. Okay, stage 1 is awareness. Okay, so awareness is like being aware of your surroundings. Now, awareness can happen at all these different levels. Just like I gave the example of butterfly, right? So if some butterflies are not, if they're not behaving in a particular way, in a particular zone, it could mean something else. This is actually going back to something called a suggestology, which I learned from my mentor, Blair Singer. He says everything suggests something. There's a whole science behind this called suggestology. So if butterflies don't fly at that particular time of the year, it suggests that there's something else going to happen in some other part of the world. There could be more rains, more floods, or something like that. Even like when I was interacting with Blair in making the stage, he was saying that even in a room when you're training, if things are falling down or something like that, if things are not neat and not ordered, that also suggests something. You walk into a restaurant, everything looks good on the outside, and the person who's opening the door to welcoming you into the restaurant, his tone is a little arrogant. Now that suggests something about the entire restaurant itself. It's not a judgment, but it suggests something. Now what's that something? We have to find out. Maybe his boss did not take care of him. Maybe they don't have a very good culture. You don't know. Okay, so for how many of you this was a brand new concept? So next time, the more aware you are, you'll be able to connect the dots. So even when you look online, if there are some marketers who are flashing their success, it suggests that maybe in their childhood they were not appreciated. Maybe in their childhood they were not treated well. So they need to fill that vacuum by showing that there's something. So again, don't judge people like that, because you'll never know what's behind that story. Another example could be if you attend somebody's webinar and then they just say something. Okay, there's something that comes out of their mind which is not resonating with you. That suggests something. It suggests their value. Maybe their values are different from yours. Maybe there are some marketers who like to bash competition down. Even Steve Jobs did this for some time. If you remember those Mac versus PC videos, those ads that they used to do a long time back. Usually when marketers do that, where they are bashing competition down, it actually suggests insecurity. It suggests that there is some insecurity in them. So they want to project themselves to be better than them by creating a campaign around that. This is the first stage, is awareness. And by the way, how many of you feel that now with after today's session, you're going to get a little bit closer to the neo zone? Now the second stage is project, not project, is to project the container. Now we'll come back to business, because now we are coming back to our business mode and what we can do. So from a knowledge business, what all can you project on a projection sheet in terms of what you want to do in your business? What kind of ingredients can you plan? Like you think about, okay, what tools can I use? What can be the messaging? What should be my mission? What should be my curriculum? What am I going to offer? Pretty much whatever I cover in the hackathon are all the ingredients. And of course, it also covers the process on how it has to be delivered and how it has to go through. So the game is more about having an awareness first. Like starts with awareness of where is your business right now. If your business is not growing, ask yourself why it's not growing. Everything suggests something. If you're working really hard, if you're learning and attending all the webinars, if you're taking a lot of notes, but if you're not taking action, then there's something wrong. Ask yourself that question. What is wrong? Everything suggests something. That's something you have to identify. Maybe there's some block that you have to remove. So then you project the container, whether it's your business. We're talking about business, so let's talk about business container. Third step is then you decide on the quality ingredients that you want to bring into your system. And also, like Renee has mentioned, what all should you remove from the system? Like what weeds you need to remove from the system for you to add the quality ingredients. Those of you who are health freaks, I'm sure you're buying organic vegetables and stuff like that, right? You're not eating packaged food. You're not ordering from Swiggy. You're very conscious about eating like raw foods, having a lot of water, cooking fresh food and eating it at home, and also going one level deeper and maybe going and getting farm fresh stuff, maybe from your friend's farm, you're getting the vegetables. You're conscious of the ingredients now. In the same way, I want all of you to get more conscious of the ingredients in every aspect of your life, not only business, even your personal, your body, your family. The ingredients of your family could be like, what are you watching together as a family? What are you discussing together as a family? If you're with kids, like what are you reading to your kids? All of those are ingredients. And most parents today, they don't know what's going on. They just give the iPad to their kids and they make them watch YouTube all day, and they wonder when they are teenagers, like what's going on in this world. Next, stage number 4 is then you got to define the process for each. Now this is where the process part of the game comes in. Like what can be the processes for your business? What can be the processes for your body, for your personality, for your community? You can actually define that. And then number 5 is see how you can add a refreshing system for each. Go for breaks, take your family on breaks, give your business a break, give your community a break. Like you plan something like that with whatever you have control over. And stage number 6 is reinvest for growth. So I'm saying reinvest your energy. I'm talking again at an energy level here. Okay, so when you reinvest your energy based on the awareness that you have, you'll be able to better shape your business. You'll be able to better shape your family. You'll be able to better shape everything else. Okay, it's like this is the game that we are constantly playing, and the only thing that we are fighting against is ourselves and entropy. If we don't do anything, we are automatically going down. Honestly, tell me, do you have any family members or friends that you know who are your age who after COVID they didn't redefine themselves and they are living a very tough life right now? If you know anybody like that, just type yes if you know. And the reason many of you here are still in the game, even though you may be in the struggling phase and coming in the launch phase, many of you here are much better off because you're in this energy, or you're in this container that I've created called Internet Lifestyle Hub, where we have quality ingredients, where we have a defined process, where I'm refreshing stuff, and I'm personally reinvesting a lot of my money back into growth of members. I'm reinvesting in my business continuously, and the same thing is what you can also do. And I'm also aware of what's going on in the community. I'm asking questions, I'm running polls, I'm finding out, okay, what exactly do you need and how we can make this better, because this is like snowballing into something really big. I can feel it, I can sense it. So now I'm going to come now to the finale of the ideas. 4 ideas to share with you. But overall, how many of you are able to connect all the dots now? Now you'll suddenly have an awareness that if my bank account is not growing, maybe I need to think about the inputs I'm giving, my head, my system. I may need to change the ingredients. I may need to even redefine the container. I may need to redefine the process. You will be able to decode this like in no time. And trust me, next year, same time, your life is not going to be the same. I'll tell you, that's why I said that I think that today's topic is going to be carved in history, because this is something I've never shared before. And I know that anyone who has got this awareness will start to operate on a different level. When all of you leave this room and go back to life, you'll start to think in these 5 steps now. And you can't unsee now this. What you have seen, you can't unsee it. You've got the model, it's got into your head right now. What are the other ideas I want to share is, again, connected to, the spiritual side and how how I was able to connect these dots is, see, the concept of karma is where our current actions are defining our future containers. The actions that we are doing right now, the current actions, are like the roots, and the fruits that come out of these actions are defining our future containers. So if your current situation is tough, then it is probably because of some of your past thinking and ideologies and actions that have led you to this space. So rather than blaming the situation, you take control of the situation and you create a new world. Okay, you recreate your future. So which means that the present is so important. So karma is nothing but every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It's like gravity. What goes around comes around. What you sow is what you reap. That's also like the law of the universe, action and reaction. And karma can go into multiple different layers also, right? Like you can have those of you believe in the transmigration, reincarnation, all that stuff, right? So some of our past life stuff could come back on us even right now. What we would have done 3-4 lifetimes ago, is something that we may need to face the music right now. So there are multiple elements that are in play. Now the second concept I want to share with all of you is that there are going to be viruses and bacteria in every part of the system. There are some viruses and bacteria that protect your containers, and there are some viruses and bacteria that, like COVID, it just messes the entire container. It messes the entire system. Can all of you see that, like, let's say in our country, let's say if there is some kind of violence and all that stuff, that's like the virus. In a state also, that's the virus. In a city also, that could be a virus. Why is there a jail? Why is there a central jail in a city? Because there are some people who are viruses in the system, and they need to be quarantined and taken care of separately till they are able to reform and being allowed to come back to the main society. So even when you're building a community, you'll find viruses. You'll have people with different motives, and you don't know where they're coming from. When you're building a business, you'll have viruses. Give me some examples of business viruses. Scammers, copycats, jealousy, envy, greed. And these are required in one sense to balance us. Like COVID was required in this world as much as it was a very tough situation for many people. It was required at an earthly level to make people aware of what they're doing. It was a slap for humanity for us to realize what is most important. And I hope we realize from this. So even in a business, like Facebook ads getting stopped, okay, that's a slap you'll get for you to come back to authenticity. So even if you look at us in our bodies getting fever, it is only to show, it's a body's reaction to show that there is something that we need to work on. Would all of you now agree with me that a virus is actually good because it's making us aware of what to fix? The universe balances everything for us. If something is wrong in a business, like, when I've had moments in my business, even in the beginning stages, where somebody would come and write a negative review about me, my initial reaction was I would try to justify it. I'll justify going and trying to say that my system is very good and all that. You don't know what, you're not even my student, all that stuff. But then after some point I realized, like, if somebody is looking at is giving me a comment, it means that I need to be more aware of something that I need to fix. So rather than blaming that, I looked more inwards to see where is the mistake, what can I improve, not more than mistake, where can I improve. And if you also notice, suppose you are somebody who's too worried about what other people think about you, when you're growing a business, if you're too worried about negative feedback, you'll actually end up getting more negative feedback. So what you focus on also expands. Keep that in mind. You can't please everybody also. Okay? There's going to be someone who will not like what you're doing. That's fine. If they're your own customers, like in my case, if my customers give me feedback, I take it seriously. If some third person gives feedback, I say perfectly fine. Let me see if I can improve. Coming back to this point over here is that viruses and bacteria actually protect your containers. As much as you should do your part to fix the issue, it actually helps you protect your containers. The viruses in your family, the viruses in your body, the viruses in your personality, the viruses in your gadgets. It's meant to give you awareness that you better use an antivirus system. Don't just keep running your system without antivirus. You need an antivirus. Clean up your system. So it's a reminder. So you need the viruses, otherwise you won't function. And let's see, at a community level, city level, state level, country level, earth level, terrorism, this, that, all those are viruses to remind us if 9/11 did not happen, then our airport security won't be like at the level that it is right now. After 9/11 happened in the US, the security all over the world, they completely redefined. And now after COVID happened on earth, the amount of consciousness that has been raised in our planet when it comes to health has gone to a whole different level. Wearing masks and washing our hands and all that, which we would have normally taken for granted 2-3 years ago. Now it's much more. It's the earth's way of reminding us of the basic hygiene and stuff like that, conscious living. And of course, universal stuff, it happens on a different time scale, so we may not be there to see the end of this yuga cycle and stuff like that. That's viruses and bacteria. Number 3, I want to share another concept with you, which is Kala. Kala is time. If you look at the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita is not a religious book actually. It covers 5 elements. It talks about who is God, who is the soul, what is karma, what is time, and what is nature. There are 5 topics pretty much covered in the Gita stuff. And time is the only thing that's moving, right? Every time the sun goes one circle, we are one stage or one day closer to our leaving this planet. The concept of time itself is a downward escalator. It's meant to pull you down. If you don't do anything, then you're just moving downwards. And again, if you look at the ancient practices of all these yogis and stuff, right? They used to hold, even now, they hold their breath to such point where they can extend their lifespan. So that's another concept. So as long as we are aware of what all we can do to fight the entropy, we are going to be having longevity in whatever we are doing. Did all of you get that? I'll repeat that. As long as our focus is on fighting entropy, we'll be able to have longevity. Let's give some examples over here. Let's say the business. If your business is not adapting continuously, it will die. Time will take it. It will just gobble up your business. Like what happened to Kodak, what happened to Nokia, what happened to BlackBerry. They could not fight entropy because there was too many things going on. Whereas on the flip side, Apple has stood the test of time. They also started in the 1980s and they stood the test of time. What is the difference? iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, iPhone 10, iPhone 13, iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Pro. So time by default is a downward escalator and we have to fight entropy. The same with the body. The more we are able to keep our body fit, our mental faculty fit, we're always thinking about new things and adapting. When it comes to family, give me some examples. What can we do to fight entropy as a family? More love, express, bond, spend quality time, better communication, more vacations, like whatever. Anything that's going to, where you're actively putting in the energy to fighting entropy. An example of entropy in family is all of the family members sitting on a dinner table looking at their phones. They're all in the same room, but they're completely disconnected. So that's an example of how entropy kicks in. And then after 5 or 10 years, families are realizing like what's going on. Why is my own son not looking at me or whatever. All these problems happen because of that. Entropy in city, for example, let's say the city guys are not cleaning up the city, and there are a few cities in India that are completely junked, right? Can you give me any examples of some cities like that? Completely junked cities, where there's no development happening, there's no proper leadership, there's nothing. Bihar and stuff. I've not been to these places, but I'm not sure. But there could be some places like that where there's even within cities also. Like I'm in Chennai right now, and I know there are some pockets in the city where it's complete trash. I don't feel like even going to those places because there's entropy kicked in over there. There's nothing happening over there. So I think every city has some at least one or many zones like this, slums and all of that stuff. So that is the third concept. Kala and time is meant to automatically pull us down unless we are actively using our soul energy to serve more people with devotion, to pull us out of that entropy zone. And then the last part, I want to talk about energy and energetic. So just imagine the sun. Sun is energy. The sunlight is energy. We can just go stand on a beautiful sunny day and we can feel the heat and the warmth on our skin. That is the energy of the sun. But the energetic is the sun itself, the ball of energy that is actually putting everything out. The concept of spirituality, I'm just trying to decode it from my perspective, is that there is one school of thought that are comfortable worshipping the energy, like people who are into non-religious spirituality, predominantly like Buddhist cultures, law of attraction, like all of these things where there is no concept of God as a person, but it is more of the energy of the universe, where they use universe everywhere. And it is true because energy is coming from the energetic, right? But there's a source of energy, and that source there are different names given to that source. Like Vedic culture has some 33 crore demigods, okay? All having this, it's like a proper government with cabinet ministers, running the universe. So they have so many defined roles where there are personalities who have been assigned. If you go to like Konark temple, Sun temple, you can see, okay, how Surya Dev is, and what he's riding on a chariot and stuff. But for the people who believe in the energy form, for them it's like, oh, this is all just some symbolic stuff. But again, the energetic is where, personally, on a personal note, I'm more inclined towards that, because I believe that it's the person to person where the relationship can happen. There could be millions of people doing or having different belief systems. For example, I can have a relationship with Shanti Yogini, or I can have a relationship with the Hemant because of the person to person connect. Now, same way, depending on what background or what culture you're coming from, you would have your own different deities or different deities that represents a particular energy. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is that in our Indian culture itself, like, can you give me some examples? Like, when you think about rain, which is energy, what is the energetic? Indra, right? Sun, okay, there's Surya. Moon, there's Chandra. So all of these are personalities. So of course, the crux of what I'm trying to tell over here is, even as we are exerting the energy of our soul, or we are using the energy of our soul to do devotional service, there has to be a personal touch to it for us to build a relationship, or in other words, there is to have a sambandha, or like a true relationship. So we could do whatever we are doing, but unless I'm able to connect with you as a person and you're able to connect with me as a person, nothing will happen. So let's go back on the top over here. Your body is exerting energy to do different things, like generating heat, and there is you're sweating and you're doing all the other stuff. But the source of the energy is the actual physical elements of the body. Same in your family, the energy of your family could be, maybe you're known as a very giving family. Your family surname, if somebody says, hey, this family, they're giving a lot in charity and they've helped so many people. So that's the energy of the family. But the energetic are the members of the family who are actually doing that. And your business is also a form of energy. Like for me, when I started my company also, I set the intention of starting, okay? Like, I want to start this to make a difference in the world. I'm not starting this just to make some money and stuff. No, it's not profit focused. That's important, but it's something else beyond that. So my energy of the business energy is representing progress and growth in society. But the energetic is who? I'm driving the business. Same way, you're driving a community. Of course, your business and community for me is the same. So if you're driving a community, like, let's look at a religious organization. Some organizations would have a kind of energy. Maybe some of them are more aggressive. Some of them are more downtoned, very more calm and relaxed. Like if you look at these Zen gurus and stuff like that, So they would have like a different vibe of their tribe. The different monks, Brahma Kumaris, Buddhists, Dalai Lamas. But where is the source of that energy? The leader of that, the guru of that particular tribe is the source of that energy, or the sister of that tribe is the source of that energy. Yeah, Mother Teresa, she was the person, but then whatever she did, the work she did was an extension of the energy that and the impact that she created. Okay, same city has the energy, and the energetic is who? The mayor of the city. Like, what decisions is that person making? Earth, if you look at, there's no one person on Earth, there's multiple. But if you look at universe, there is the universal creator, and who has multiple different expansions and over time. And you want to give a name to that person. And if you look at in our scriptures, usually if you see there are 5 tattvas. When you go deeper into this, you have the Vishnu tattva, the Shiva tattva, the Shakti tattva, the Jiva tattva. All of us would come under the marginal energy. Like, we can't become, we are qualitatively one but quantitatively different. And then we have another Guru tattva. There are 5. I'm going more deeper into that, but overall, if you see that there are different energies that actually come together to rule the universe. Like, even if you look at it in family, right, would all of you agree with me that both the husband and wife, both the energy is important, the yin and yang, like both work as a team? Actually, that's important. So even in the universal flow of things, though there are many gods, but all of these energies work together for it to really work well together. There's one thing I forgot to share as a closing point to the last one is energy and energetic, right? So every time I go to a temple, for example, I'm seeing a deity. I'm not looking at that as a stone. It is a representation of that energy in that form. So it's not just an idol. It's a deity which has been, that they've invoked the energy. The energetic is there in that form with the energy. Now when I go to any temples, not even from the beginning, I've been brought up like this, is I don't want to go and ask stuff. There'll be points where we will want something and all of that. We'll go with a checklist and like a shopping list. But would all of you are able to get the point that when we go to spiritually powerful places, whether it's a church or a mosque or a temple or a gurudwara or any of these places, you're going there not just to shop for stuff, but you're going there with an intent to deepen your relationship and to be in that devotional service mindset. Do you think that will make a difference? Suppose you're the father of your child or the mom of your child, and the child comes to you saying, okay, daddy, get me this, mom, get me this, I want this toy, I want this, and they're always complaining about what they don't have. Versus, let's say the child comes to you and says, dad, I just love you so much, I just want to be with you. Mom, I don't want anything from you, I just want you. Now how will that feel when your child comes and tells you that? Just go if your child comes to you and says, dad, thank you for being my dad. Mom, thank you for being my mom. How are you going to feel? You're going to be bowled over, right? Now imagine if you are able to have that kind of feeling when you walk into a temple or whatever. Just say, thank you. I don't want anything from you. You know what's best for me. How many of you are willing to try this out next time you go to a spiritual place and do it genuinely? Because you know what? The higher energies and force, they know what's good for us. In many cases, we do not know what's good for us. I think this is the core message I wanted to deliver for today is if we just align ourselves to the highest, whichever you connect with, whichever form and process that you connect with, once you align yourself with that, you will start to get ideas on how to do a better job in your business and everything else will start to fall into place. Don't ask me how, because I don't know how it happens, but it just happens. It's more like, Blair Singer says, he says that when you do what you're supposed to be doing, the universe will bend backwards to fulfill that for you. When you do what you're supposed to be doing on this. Now, how do you know what you're supposed to be doing? Even I do not know, but I just know that if I align myself for the greater good of this world and based on whatever I've learned, that's it. I'm just aligning myself to my mentors. Blair, he says, be a teacher, be a leader. You're a teacher, leader. We can solve all the problems in this world if we are able to create more teachers and leaders. I just took that up. That's become my mission. Then my spiritual master, some of you might have met him at FBR. He says the same thing, like true freedom is not eating, sleeping, mating, defending. True freedom is getting out of this cycle of birth and death and thinking about at a soul level. So perfect, I'm following that. Okay, and connecting my business to a spiritual, I'm contributing to the spiritual community and stuff. And then I'm aligning even with my other mentor, Vic Strises, who said, don't just sell products, build communities, build your own ecosystem. Just following that. So I've taken the elements from everywhere, and that's what is here as Internet Lifestyle Hub. So next time you go and pray in a temple or whatever, just think of yourself as just an instrument and allow them to give you the whatever has to be given to you to do your work. And I feel what I've shared today, I'm not sure, possibly it's one of those downloads that just came in that I had to share, which I would have never been humanly possible for me to have cracked this out on my own. It just came in. I just kept putting it in the mind map, and the idea just evolved. That's how we will operate on a day-to-day basis as we are in that mode of surrender. I'm going to give all of you this mind map. Okay, it'll be uploaded. In fact, I'll post it in our Telegram group also immediately after this call. So make sure that you join the Telegram group, so everything is covered over here. So I want to just close the loop on this entire concept. We are here to do what we're supposed to do in this world, the time that we have. So when we're able to get clear on the mission that we want to fulfill, and the mission can start with the basic, yes, I want to help 100,000 people solve this problem. Like, what is the mission statement template that I've given you? That's the starting point. But the mission can be deeper than that. The mission can evolve also. So once you keep that focus on the mission, and then you're going to think about community. As you're doing this, would all of you agree with me that everything can get fixed in this world when we are able to build an army of people like this? Only now, not when I was doing this, mapping this out, only then it hit me a little bit harder that what Blair was saying is so true, that every problem in this world can be solved, like a universal problem. An earthly problem, a country problem, a state problem, city problem, community problem, business problem, family problem, bodily problem, personality problem can be solved with the activity that we are doing over here. Because this, whatever I call the freedom business model, it's a money-making model, but it encompasses everything. Because to protect the container, we have code of honor. Quality ingredients, we have like a value system. Don't be cheap on your journey towards greatness. To define the process, there is a process. We're actually developing the process. Like, I have a process, you'll have a process, others will have a process, and we're building like a community building process. And we keep refreshing by being a lifelong learner. And then whatever we are, making money from the system, we are reinvesting it into the business. We are reinvesting into charity, and we are reinvesting it back into the community. And when you reinvest and grow like this, we are going to be creating so many multiple hundreds and thousands of these digital islands of knowledge. Or Internet Lifestyle Hub is one ecosystem. Imagine we have thousands of ecosystems with strong codes of honor. And in one sense, we are becoming into our own planets. Like, ILH is a small planet on the internet. If you see, like, if you look at an analogy of space, and you have so many of these planets, that's going to redefine, the society. It's going to redefine every single aspect of this world. I just want to connect the dots by telling all of you that you're in the right path. You're in the right business. Whether you believe that you can do this or not, just be in the game. Even if you're nurturing and mentoring 5-10 people, I want to keep this example for the end. Okay, Lord Ram was building the bridge to Lanka, all set to go and fight Ravan. And then the monkey warriors, Hanuman and their entire entourage, they were putting all these different boulders. They were throwing boulders and making the bridge, writing Lord Ram's name on it. And there was a small squirrel that was moving a small piece of stone to construct the bridge. And there were some of these monkeys, I think, were laughing at the squirrel. And Ram said, no, even that squirrel's job is actually helping the mission. He acknowledged that. It is not just the big monkeys throwing the boulders, it's also the squirrel. So don't think that only if you have 1,000 of people in your community that you're making a difference. Even if you're helping 2 or 3 people change their life, you're making a difference. You're playing a part in that bigger goal of things in this universe. Yeah. So it's not the scale that's important. It is the intent that is important. And the scale will automatically happen if it has to happen. You just need to be in that state of flow. But of course, be aggressive about the mission. Be aggressive about learning the skills. Be aggressive about all the different stuff that's covered over here.